Welcome to day 197 of TFIF 365. And today's going to be a bit of a ramble again because I'm processing a lot. And so whatever comes up in this time is what I'll be talking about. So there's no agenda for this. So one of the things that I've been dealing with is, again, when I say putting space between my triggers and my response, is not just triggered by other people, it's triggered by myself. So one of the things that has been triggering me as I've been talking about trying to be very as transparent as possible is having decided to undergo this whole new business thing, not knowing what's gonna come of it or any of that, and seeing that my investment in that, it means the dwindling of my accounts, right? While I figure this whole thing out. And one of the things that I talk about a lot is, I'm always in my head. That is that ADHD, that's that Gemini, I'm always in my head, right? I'm always processing stuff. And so yesterday, I was kind of spinning out because it was just like too much. What's been going on in the world is just like too much. It was too much stimuli. And having ADHD, now that I understand that, I have to be able to manage that better. And I'm still working on that. I'm still working on how to manage when I feel like I'm in a pinball machine, just like the ball just getting batted back and forth from pedals and bumpers and lights going off and a whole bunch of stuff is going on. And so yesterday, in the midst of all of that, I heard audibly the words, "You're a fraud," in my head. And that just took me out. That just I was so taken aback by that. I was so it knocked me off my center because I was like, what? Where did that, what? And so I triggered myself, and in my practice of, putting space between my response and my triggers and my response, I wanted to talk it, because again, I'm an external process. I wanted to talk it out with somebody. I wasn't looking for advice. I was just wanting to talk it out with somebody. And in this conversation, this individual said some things that triggered me. It wasn't that they did anything wrong, but they triggered me. Those things that they said triggered me. And it was really clear because I didn't understand. I was just wanted to talk because I understand why word fraud, supremacy-free, coercion-free, discrimination-free, and exploitation-free is specifically designed to mitigate any opportunities or any chances that fraud would take place, let alone by me. And so for my voice to say that, it just kind of threw me. And then it reminded, once I finally, settled down, it just, and I thought about it last night and this morning, but one of the things that really gets me is this work requires us to unindoctrinate ourselves. I don't know if that's a word, but we've all been indoctrinated in the same systems, institutions, and policies designed to privilege the few at the expense of the many, right? We all have internalized I've not seen anywhere globally. Now, somebody can show it to me. Show me the data. I'll go with it. But I have not seen globally. I've heard stories globally. I've not seen one example where white supremacy or anti-Blackness does not exist. Maybe in some remote indigenous communities, but anywhere that colonizers, anywhere that imperialists, anywhere that conquerors existed and spread out, there is white supremacy and anti-Blackness. And what's funny is, what people don't get about this, when people say, I'm not racist, you don't have to be racist. As a white person, you don't have to be racist. And as a non-Black person, you don't have to be, no, let me take that back. I'm going to back up. You don't have to be participating in active racist behavior in the moment, and you're still racist because you benefit chiefly from systems, institutions, and policies rooted in white supremacy and anti-Blackness that are designed to privilege you at the expense of people like me, right? So I don't even have that conversation. I don't even have that debate of whether white people are racist or not. They are racist, and it's not anything is how they've been indoctrinated. It's the systems in the society that we live in. They benefit whether they intend to or not, whether they want to or not. It is just how shit is set up. So I'm not going to have a conversation with somebody, a white person, about whether they're racist or not. The question I want to know is, are you actively interested in participating and building an anti-racist practice, consistent, demonstrated anti-racist practice, or are you leaning into white supremacy? That's all I need to know. And so even with that fraud that was in my head, I can trace that back to white supremacy and anti-blackness. As much as I don't want to talk about these things, that's why I created supremacy-free, coercion-free, discrimination-free, and exploitation-free, because I want to be for something and not against white supremacy and anti-blackness. Didn't no longer want my work to be rooted in that. But that's where the work is. And so as I'm examining this is where I say it's two sides of the same coin. You cannot have systems, institutions, and policies designed to privilege the few without it negatively harming the many. It's the two sides of the same coin. So me saying, that voice saying you're a fraud, when I know what I'm designing, how I'm living, how I'm moving, is rooted in equal access, equal leverage, equal agency, and equal access, right? If I know that, why did I hear that? That's because I've been indoctrinated in the same systems, institutions, and policies rooted in white supremacy and anti-blackness. And so when I behave, or when I use my agency to move in a space where I try to ignore white supremacy and anti-blackness, I've been indoctrinated not to do that. My brain, my life, as a person from a marginalized community who is directly impacted by white supremacy and anti-blackness, we train our own selves. It's for safety, it's for resilience, it's for all these other things. So that voice was not me. That voice was challenging me as I challenged status quo. It's designed to put me back in my place, right? And that's what I couldn't. I was like, why of all words? I'll even get with grifter, because I've been called a grifter many times when people don't know what the fuck I'm doing. But a fraud? And so for me, a grifter is somebody who is, I guess that could be fraudulent too, but I don't see it as the same. A grifter, I take that back. So no, I'm not a grifter either. See, this is how my brain works. I say something and I'm like, no, that doesn't fit either. But I can see somebody saying I'm insincere, right? I can see somebody saying that I'm not honest. They don't know me. But a fraud, when everything I do is about minimizing harm and prioritizing the most vulnerable, when all I think about is how do I move in this world and cause less harm, and the word fraud, and I almost grabbed a hold of that and thought it was like, what the fuck? And then I realized, gotcha. This is how insidious these systems, institutions, and policies are. Racists don't have to be in the room. They don't have to be in our ear. They don't have to slap our hand. They don't have to take our DEI. They don't have to be against CRT. We do it ourselves because we've been also indoctrinated in the same things. We also see ourselves as less than because that's how we've been taught. So in this moment, I am regaining my humanity. I know who I am. I just got to keep reminding myself of who I am. I am a person who firmly sits in being honest, who firmly sits in doing my best, learning from my mistakes and modeling that. So, no, I'm not a fraud. I'm just a person who's just trying to figure out some shit that was never meant to be figured out. I was never supposed to challenge these systems, institutions, and policies. And I have very little examples or to follow. So that's just me. So I'm saying all this to say, please evaluate the messages that you're saying to yourself that just pop up out of nowhere. We've learned, that's your gut, that's your, intuition. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's just indoctrinated white supremacy and anti-blackness trying to keep you from challenging its existence. And it's a fight. It's a fight to the battle. It's a fight to the end. It is a fight to the death. And I'm going to win this. So until tomorrow, peace.